News sometimes can be boring. However, if you know what to look for, it's not boring whatsoever. And we know what to look for. Stay tuned right now for the news that nobody else is talking about.
Well, I honestly don't know if it gets any bigger than what I'm about to tell you. The news is huge today. And I'm talking about it's big time. The news has come out now, and let me make sure I get these audio levels set up here. I apologize if it's a little hot on you. There we go, a little better. The news is huge today, and the reason I'm so excited is we are moving, honestly, right at the confirmation of the covenant. I cannot believe what I'm about to tell you. Listen to this. Bahrain, which is in the Middle East, is now the second country to say, hey, Israel, I think we can be friends. I think we can hang. Let's listen to Trump. This is today, Friday, September 11th. Today, listen to what Trump said today about the confirmation of the covenant. This is amazing. Look at this right here. Here it is.
Agreement that we're about to tell you. You will hear something today that's, I think, very, very important for not only the Middle East, but for the world. In the spirit of peace and cooperation, both leaders also agreed that Bahrain will fully normalize its diplomatic relations with Israel. They will exchange embassies and ambassadors, begin direct flights between their countries, and launch cooperation initiatives across a broad range of sectors, including health, business, technology, education, security, and agriculture. This is a truly historic day. There had been 2 peace agreements with Israel in the last 72 years. This is now the second peace agreement that we've announced in the last month, and I am very hopeful that there will be more to follow. I can tell you there's tremendous enthusiasm on behalf of other countries to also join, and we think ultimately you'll have most countries join, and you're going to have the Palestinians in a very good position. They want to come in. They're going to want to come in because all of their friends are in. But we have tremendous enthusiasm for coming into the deal. I want to thank the group of very talented people behind me, and you're going to be hearing from them.
Here's the point. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear that he said we are now moving towards the rest of them, meaning the rest of the Arab countries now beginning to accept Israel, have peace with Israel. Now, why do I think this is such a big deal? Jesse, who cares about Israel and peace, and what does it really matter? Well, let me explain to you why this is such a big deal. The Bible prophesies that there is a coming agreement that will start the final 7 years to the Battle of Armageddon and the coming of the Lord. The Bible says that there is a last trump. Jesus doesn't come back 2 or 3 times. He comes back one time at the last trump. And the Bible explains that there is a confirmation of the covenant. There's a covenant between Israel and many nations in Daniel 9:27. And that confirmation of the covenant begins the final 7 years to the Battle of Armageddon and the coming of the Lord. Let me read to you Daniel 9:27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So the Antichrist will stop the actual sacrifices. We know that. It just said that. For the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even to the consummation of the determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So we know that there is coming a peace agreement that will secure Israel's right to exist in the Holy Land, Genesis chapter 15, verse 18. And Donald Trump is talking about nations that have never had peace with Israel ever before, and now it's happening. I'm telling you something. We may be looking at the final 7 years starting here. I don't know. It could happen in the next month. And I'm just saying, I don't know, but if we keep having peace with everybody in that area, oh my gosh, do you understand what's happening? The Bible is coming alive right before your eyes. Wow, unbelievable.
almost got arrested 2 days ago at the Federal Reserve for standing outside on the sidewalk.
We're talking about the Constitution.
What's really going on?
Nothing ever goes on my right hand or my forehead. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. It is against my religion to put any kind of a mark or symbol on that part of my body.
Do you want to know today?
And sure enough, one of those cards said terrorist nuke.
No
now,
way.
their whole label clearly shows the Twin Towers of New York being struck with some sort of an aerial craft.
What are the real issues today? What are you dealing with? What is happening? There's a lot of people saying a lot of things, but we're going to talk about real issues and your life today on the Jesse Woodrow Show. Freedom of Speech Fridays right here on the Jesse Woodrow Show. I'm going to be taking your questions, and I wanted to say first, we are launching. I have purchased now a service that will allow us to stream the multiple platforms at the same time and give good video. It won't be choppy and all this stuff. So we're excited about that. So hey, we're moving up, moving on up. You know, to the east side. We're doing it, baby. Come on now. So this is obviously what I love. I'm so honored to be with you guys. Thank you for taking time out of your Friday night to be with us. I want to read Freedom of Speech Fridays is all about freedom of speech. So let me go ahead and read it. Here we are. The Constitution, United States of America. Everybody should have one of these. First Amendment of the Constitution. Read it with me out loud. Here we go. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. That's you and me saying what we want to say. Or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. It is your constitutional right to have freedom to speak. I'm telling you what, we need it in this country right about now. By the way, do you remember August 7th, I think it was? I said right here on this air, by the way, go ahead and take a look at freedom of speech and just go ahead and wave by, because it is by. When they banned the President of the United States on Twitter, for whatever it was at the time, I think it was that he was saying kids are not really immune to they're immune to COVID-19, and that's what the science shows. But he said that, and it didn't agree with what the elite and the New World Order wanted, and so they banned him on Twitter. And when the President of the United States gets banned, he didn't even say don't kill someone or kill someone. He said, an opinion of his. Free speech, the Constitution. We're allowed to have freedom of speech. We're allowed to say and think and do what we want to do as long as you're not killing or hurting someone else. I want to say on 9/11, today is September 11th, obviously, 2020. How many of you remember where you were on September 11th that morning? I remember where I was. I'll never forget it. I remember watching TV going, whoa. And obviously, you know where you were. Life stood still that morning. And people have posted all day long. I've seen people say, we will never forget. Well, I want to tell you something tonight. I will never forget that this was an inside job. There are too many things that point to either they knew it was going to happen, they let it happen, they made it happen, they let it. There are too many things, and I want to talk to you tonight about the fact that I will never forget that you let this happen, made it happen, turned a blind eye, knew about it beforehand, and I don't like it. Power is knowledge, and the lack of it is death. I want to take you to the first thing to explain to you what I mean when I say that they knew about this. Do you understand that the day before 9/11, on September 10th, Osama bin Laden was in a military overseas in Pakistan in a United States military hospital receiving dialysis? This is September 10th, 2001. He was receiving dialysis. Now check this out. On let's see. This is agency. The title of this is Agency Planned Exercise on September 11th, built around plane crashing into building. Do you understand that on September 11th, there was a drill that was going on with NORAD that depicted the same exact thing that was happening on 9/11. Come on, you didn't know about this, and this was out of the blue, and you can't imagine this would ever happen. There was a government handbook that had plane flying into the World Trade Center with a target on it. You didn't know this was going to happen. I want to go through about 10 things today and make sure that everybody understands that we will not forget that you either knew this was going to happen, you planned it, or you turned an eye to it and you knew it was happening. Here's my number one thing. Here we go. You ready for this? On the morning of 9/11, guess what Condoleezza Rice did? Do you remember what she did? Here it is. The 9/11 Commission report came out and said on 9/11 that Condoleezza Rice on September 10th, I believe it was, or the morning of September 11th, that morning, it says right here, the committee investigated 9/11 did not ask Mrs. Rice why she warned Mayor Willie Brown not to fly on 9/11. Willie Brown was in San Francisco, and she called him and said, don't get on a flight today to New York City. Why? Why would you say that to somebody unless you knew something was going to happen before it happened? We will never forget that you knew about this before it was going to happen, or planned it, or let it happen, or made it happen. Unbelievable. I will never forget. On the day of 9/11, do you know on the day of 9/11, I didn't know what I know now. I didn't. I had no idea of all this stuff at that point. So I thought, oh, man, this is unbelievable. I can't believe we're being attacked, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't know what was happening. But now I understand. I understand that there are coincidences. You can have one thing. Oh, that's a coincidence. That happened. I can't believe that happened. But over and over and over, on the morning of 9/11, the White House called Rumsfeld, said, hey, I know you're on that side of the Pentagon. Go to the other side. Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to tell somebody to go to the other side of the Pentagon unless you know something's about to happen? So you have Condoleezza Rice calling Willie Brown in San Francisco the morning of 9/11 saying, hey, don't get on the flight today. And he didn't. And here's the article. I just wanted to show you the article. So in case you think I'm crazy, I'm not crazy. By the way, the conspiracy theorist of 2001 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, as in Jesse Woodrow, is now been the truth spirist, if you will. I've been validated. All the stuff that we talked about all those years ago is now happened and is happening, and we all know it's true now. So don't call us a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to tell you something. Power is knowledge, and the lack of it is death. The more you don't know is going to hurt you. You better figure stuff out. You better be strong in the Lord. That's what life's about. I'm revved up today. 9/11 gets me going because I realize that a lot of people still don't know that there are people running this world that want evil, and that God is the only thing, the only safe place in the world is Jesus Christ. That's it. Now listen to this. Willie Brown admits. Here's a San Francisco Chronicle. Here it is right here. San Francisco Chronicle. Wednesday, September 12th, 2001. This is the day after 9/11. He says that he got a low-key early warning about air travel. He says, I can't believe it. They told me not to fly today. Yesterday. This is the day after 9/11. And in this article, he says, man, I don't know. It just made me feel really weird. When I start seeing these planes flying in the World Trade Center and all these things happening, I thought, wow, I can't believe that I got a phone call not to fly. Why? Oh, folks, come on now. Who can get with me right in this right now? We will never forget. No, you're right. I will never forget that either you knew about it, you let it happen, or you made it happen. I will never forget. Woo! Come on now. Power is knowledge. The lack of it is death. Freedom of Speech Fridays right here at the Jesse Woodrow Show. I may be taking your questions and comments when we come back from the break.
Norwex is the future of cleaning or sanitization in your home or office. And with the recent COVID-19 pandemic, we all are concerned with the sanitization of our home and our office. The Norwex microfiber is revolutionary. It removes up to 99% of bacteria from surfaces, and it has colloidal silver in it, which is amazing. This product will blow your mind. It will save you money. Visit vreus.norwex.biz to get your Norwex products today.
Have you ever thought that it was actually possible that the country of Canada, the country of Mexico, and the country of the United States of America would become one country by itself? Well, now Dr. Jerome Corsi has written this book called The Late Great USA. The coming merger with Mexico, Canada, and the United States actually proves that the benignly named Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America was actually created at a meeting between George Bush, Stephen Harper, and Vicente Fox. The elites in Europe who wanted to create a European nation now want to create a North American union. He's written many books, including co-authoring the #1 New York Times bestseller Unfit for Command and Abomination. You can purchase all of his books at Amazon.com. The government is expanding, taxes are increasing, more senseless wars are being planned, inflation is ballooning, our basic freedoms are disappearing. The founding fathers didn't want any of this. In fact, they said quite clearly in the Constitution of the United States of America, remember that? Unfortunately, that ingenious, beautiful, revolutionary document is being ignored more and more in Washington. If we are to enjoy peace, freedom, and prosperity once again, we absolutely must return to the principles upon which America was founded. And Dr. Ron Paul has written this new book, The Revolution, a Manifesto. He is a United States congressman and was a huge deal in the underground internet movement, made a big deal about a lot of things, and was challenged a lot in the media. And I think you'd like to know what's in his book, The Revolution, a Manifesto by Dr. Ron Paul. You could order it at Amazon.com or many other outlets on the internet. If you have something you'd like to say, comment now. I can read your comment live on the air. We want to do that. We appreciate you taking a Friday night out here at the Jesse Woodrow Show, Freedom of Speech Fridays, where you have a voice and you matter. It's your freedom to speak, and very soon, I would say probably, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be start to take your phone calls, and we'll really be able to get into some things. I can't wait to hear from some of you guys that have been listening for years. I'm so thrilled, so excited, so honored that we're still all together. It's really fun. So today we're talking about the fact that it's the 9/11, 2020. And do you remember where you were? And obviously, my prayers and feelings go out to every family member that has been affected by this, whether their father, mother, brother, sister, friend passed away, was killed on that day. What a gut-wrenching thing that's happened. What a horrible thing that's happened. And to know that the government knew about it, if you read the 9/11 Commission reports, the government knew about it. Knew before. They said on the day, I remember, we don't know. We can't make it. You knew about it. You called Willie Brown before it was going to. Now, let's get into a couple more things. I want you to walk away today with some knowledge. Power is knowledge, and the lack of his death. I want you to walk away today being able to say, hey, did you know that 9/11 was an inside job? And if they didn't, you know what happened to me, by the way? When I found out 9/11 was an inside job, I thought, oh my gosh, wait a minute. What else am I being lied to? And then the doors swung open. I found God about that time and started going to church, and my life changed. I started seeing a whole bunch of things I hadn't seen. So let's get into, I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 more things that will make you go, as we used to say back in the day. But I want to say this. Why was Osama bin Laden's father having breakfast with Bush Sr. on the day of 9/11? Did you know that? Did you know that Osama bin Laden's family, his father, was having breakfast with Bush Sr. on the morning of 9/11? What? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. On the day of 9/11, I'll never forget it. On 9/11, all of a sudden, all planes had been grounded. Nobody was allowed to move. You couldn't do a single thing. But I tell you what, I remember all of a sudden breaking news. The bin Laden family has been magically allowed to get on planes and leave the country. Are you kidding me? Why? Because they were involved. They were there planning a meeting. You know, I mean, look, if you got all this stuff going on, why would you not have breakfast? I mean, I thought, it's no coincidence that Bush Sr. was having breakfast with bin Laden's father on the morning of 9/11. Are you out of your mind? Why? We're radical Islamists, these terrorists, supposedly extremists and terrorists and so forth and so on. Why? Why were they out getting drunk and going to strip clubs and doing things that would not be radical Islamic zealots? These guys weren't radical Islamists. They weren't zealots for the religion. They were out drinking and doing drugs and girls the night before. Don't tell me they were on some righteous, holy thing that they were doing. Give me a break. The Swan, you say you guys noticed that the wildfires, know to stop at the Canada border. It's almost as smart as the coronavirus. You know, it's interesting. The fires, my house backs up right against this mountain behind us that's on fire. And if you look at that fire that happened a couple years ago, where all those families, all those cities, communities up north, hundreds of people, I forget the numbers now, how many people died, but there were people that died. Those, I believe, the actual SDG&E, the Department of whoever, Power and Water and Power of those communities actually were sued, and they settled out of court for millions of dollars because they were, quote, negligent in their, letting the power continue. But if you look at that, they were warned to turn off the power, and they didn't. So that's murder. And they paid out of court for it. So very good point about the fires. Who knows? We'll wait to see if these fires are all set on purpose. There are rumors that they are. I can't back that up. I'm just telling you. I understand that we all, including me, if you're smart at all, if you got a green light on your forehead, and I'm open to truth, if you're a truth seeker, let me tell you something. You're constantly going to be thinking, was that done on purpose? Was that done on purpose? When you know 9/11 was done on purpose, let it happen, made it happen, turned a blind eye, knew about it. When you know, after what I'm telling you today, you should look at every single event, every event in your life, and say, power is knowledge and lack of is death. What do I not know? What do I not know? And this is a good moment for all of us to turn to God and say, God, in the middle of a trial, in the middle of a tribulation, in the middle of a disaster, God, what are you trying to show me? When evil comes against you, when people come against you, when people are lying about you or whatever, when stuff is coming against you, what can you and I do? Say, God, teach me. What do you want me to know in this? How do you want me to be? You want me be more rooted and grounded in you? What can I do, God? What can you show me? And the same way, we need to be truth seekers in everything that's happening. Hey, what am I not seeing here? What's going on around the corner that I don't know about? What you don't know will hurt you. Here we go. Now, listen to this. The Journal of Business wrote, a measure of abnormal long put volume options were also examined and seemed to be at abnormally high levels in the days leading up to the attacks of 9/11. Consequently, the paper concludes that there is evidence of unusual options market activity in the days leading up to September 11th that is consistent with investors trading on advanced knowledge of the attacks. Alan M. Pottishman of the Journal of Business said that. Now, I want to play for you a clip of Silverstein, the guy that owned the trade towers. He actually said, I'm not kidding you, he said, pull them. On the day of 9/11, he said, demo them. Do you know how many months it takes to demo a building in Vegas? They plan that thing for months. You don't just sit that day and say, I want to put dynamite in the buildings and pull them. Pull them is a word people use when you want to demo a building in Vegas, when they just fall like that. That's what it means. That takes engineers months to figure out how to. You don't just figure it out in the day. But Silverstein on the day of 9/11 just told the fire department to go ahead and pull it. You don't believe me? Look at this.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
You watched the building collapse. Like, are you kidding me? That looks exactly like when a building collapses or is pulled in Vegas. We've seen it all. I've seen it all my life. Don't tell me you just made a decision to pull it. That takes months. And by the way, building number 7 was never even hit by a plane. Guess what was in building number 7? The CIA, the FBI, there was not Department of Homeland Security, that wasn't there yet, but there was CIA, FBI, there was all these, Secret Service was there, all these top secret level, each, there was like 7 or whatever different levels, I don't know how many different levels of that place, but one level of the building, each level was a different department. It was all secret, top secret stuff. So they had to, a lot of people say, hey, they did that to destroy the documents that were up there. And there were probably documents about 9/11 up there. So anyway, pull the building? Why would you even think that? That seems ridiculous. So why was there a drill for the same exact thing on the day of 9/11? And guess what? When it started happening, guess what they said? Stand down. This is stand down. Don't do anything yet. Stand down, because the guy said, "Wait, is this a drill or is this live?" And they said, "This is live, but hold on a second." And that allowed, because they flew out the F-16s, the F-14s, whatever it was, flew out way over and out over into the sea. So they couldn't get back in time by the time they find out that this is not a drill, this is live. They were told to basically stand down. So you had a drill going on the morning of the attack, and the drill, guess what? Was the exact drill of what was happening, or what happened that day. And we see this continually throughout. We saw in the London bombings that happened years ago, 15 years ago. Those bombings, there was a drill going on that day. There was a Times Square bombing that happened 10, 15 years ago. There was a drill for that exact thing happening that morning as well. I mean, this is a overarching theme that the government uses drills. So whenever you see a drill, by the way, there was a drill in Haiti the day that the earthquake happened. And we were already over there. The United States government was like off the shore experimenting on a possible earthquake drill in Haiti the day that the earthquakes happened. And then you got HAARP. Oh, man. There's so much to tell you. Why was a perfectly untouched, unbent, undamaged passport of one of the hijackers picked up on live TV on 9/11 from the scene of the crime when everything was supposedly demolished and it was just ash? But you found a perfectly good passport with no dirt or dust. I remember watching on TV going, did he just pick that up off the ground? It was like he just found it. Oh, look what I found, and picked it up like it had been set right there. Guys, there are too many things that have coincidentally happened for me to believe in coincidence anymore regarding this subject. There's so much I didn't even get to, but you got enough to walk away that there's more to this story. Power is knowledge and the lack of it is death. The best thing to do is to be born again, born of the water and the Spirit, enter the kingdom of God. It's the only safe place to be. I love you very much. I'm praying for you. Reach out to me if you have questions. We'll talk to you soon. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
Love you.